The door slammed shut with a finality that echoed through the empty hallway of the modest suburban home in upstate New York. Ravanandra Raven Thompson, barely 19, stood on the porch with nothing but a backpack slung over her shoulder, rain pouring down as if the sky itself were weeping for her. Her mother's words still rang in her ears. "No daughter of mine will live like this. Get out and don't come back until you've fixed yourself." Raven's world had shattered in an instant. It started innocently enough, a whispered confession to her best friend Jamie during a late-night study session at college. But whispers have a way of turning into screams in small towns, and when Raven's conservative mother, Evelyn, overheard a phone call, the confrontation erupted like a long-dormant volcano. Evelyn, a pillar of the local church community, couldn't fathom her only child straying from the path she'd meticulously laid out. Good grades, a nice boy, marriage, kids. The idea of Raven loving another girl? It was an abomination, a betrayal of everything sacred. Shivering in the downpour, Raven pulled out her phone with trembling hands and dialed Jamie. "They know," she choked out. "My mom. She threw me out." Jamie's voice on the other end was steady, a lifeline in the storm. "Come to me. I'll pick you up. We'll figure this out." As Raven waited on the curb, headlights piercing the rain, she felt the weight of her decision pressing down. Loving Jamie wasn't a choice. It was who she was. But at what cost? Her family, her home, her future. All gone in a blaze of righteous fury. Jamie arrived in her beat-up Honda, her face pale but determined. She was 20, with a scholarship to NYU and dreams of becoming a journalist, exposing the hypocrisies of society. Her own family was fragmented, divorced parents who barely noticed her comings and goings, so she had the freedom Raven envied. As they drove away from the house that had once been Raven's sanctuary, Jamie reached over and squeezed her hand. "You're not alone," she said softly, but Raven couldn't shake the knot in her stomach. What if this was just the beginning of the rejections? They crashed at Jamie's cramped dorm room that night, huddled under blankets as Raven sobbed out the details. Evelyn had found letters, intimate notes exchanged in secret. "She called me sick," Raven whispered. "Said I'd burn in hell." Jamie held her close, her own heart aching. She knew the risks. Her aunt had been ostracized for similar reasons years ago. But love like theirs felt pure, untainted by the world's judgments. "We'll build our own life," Jamie promised. "Away from all this hate." The next morning brought harsh reality. Raven's phone buzzed with a text from her father, silent during the outburst. "Your mother's decision stands. Don't contact us." Cut off financially, Raven dropped out of community college and took a waitressing job at a diner in the city. Jamie juggled classes and part-time work to help with rent for a tiny apartment they shared in Brooklyn. Their days blurred into a rhythm of survival, stolen kisses amid exhaustion, whispered dreams of a better future. But the cracks began to show. Evelyn's influence extended beyond the family home. She rallied the church group, spreading whispers that painted Raven as a wayward soul needing prayer. Old friends distanced themselves, and Raven felt the sting of isolation. One evening after a grueling shift, she came home to find Jamie poring over articles about LGBTQ rights. "We should fight back," Jamie urged. "Tell your story." Raven hesitated. Exposing herself meant reopening wounds, but silence felt like surrender. Tensions escalated when Evelyn showed up at the diner unannounced. "I want to talk," she said stiffly, her eyes avoiding Raven's. Seated in a booth, Evelyn laid out her terms. Therapy, repentance, a return to the right path. "This phase will pass," she insisted. Raven's voice shook as she replied, "It's not a phase, Mom. I love her." Evelyn's face hardened. "Then you're choosing sin over family." She left without another word, leaving Raven reeling. That night, Jamie proposed they attend a pride event, a step toward empowerment. Raven agreed, her heart pounding with fear and excitement. As they marched hand in hand amid rainbow flags, Raven felt a glimmer of belonging. But back home, the confrontation with Evelyn lingered like a shadow. Was love worth this exile? The question haunted her dreams. Months turned into a year. Raven found solace in a support group for queer youth, sharing stories of rejection that mirrored her own. Jamie's journalism internship led to pieces on discrimination, subtly drawing from their experiences. Yet the pressure mounted. Raven's younger brother Mark secretly messaged her. Mom's not the same. She's angrier. Guilt gnawed at Raven. Had her truth broken her family? One fateful day, Jamie received a job offer in Chicago. A step up in her career. We could start fresh, she said eagerly. Raven froze. Leaving New York meant severing the last ties to her past, but staying risked stagnation. The decision loomed a test of their bond. As they debated late into the night, Raven realized love demanded sacrifices she hadn't anticipated. The move to Chicago was supposed to be a new chapter, but it felt more like tearing pages from an unfinished book. Raven packed their belongings into Jamie's car, her hands lingering on a photo of her family from happier times. Evelyn smiling proudly at her graduation. Are we doing the right thing? Raven asked as they crossed state lines. Jamie glanced over, her eyes fierce. We're building our future. That's what matters. Settling into a modest apartment in Wrigleyville, they navigated the unfamiliar city. Jamie thrived at her new role with a progressive news outlet, covering stories of social justice that fueled her passion. Raven enrolled in night classes for graphic design, channeling her creativity into something tangible. Their nights were filled with quiet dinners and shared ambitions, but the ghost of Evelyn's rejection haunted Raven. She often woke from nightmares where her mother's voice echoed accusations. Social pressures crept in subtly at first. At a work party for Jamie, a colleague casually asked about Raven's boyfriend. Correcting them brought awkward silences, reminding Raven of the world's default assumptions. Jamie brushed it off, but Raven felt exposed, vulnerable. Why can't we just be? She vented one evening. Jamie pulled her into an embrace. Because change takes time. We're part of that change. Back in New York, Evelyn grappled with her own turmoil. The empty bedroom upstairs mocked her, a reminder of the daughter she'd banished. Church sermons on forgiveness clashed with her ingrained beliefs. She confided in her pastor, who suggested prayer circles for wayward children. But doubt seeped in. Was her stance truly God's will or her own fear? Mark, now 16, challenged her openly. Raven is happy, Mom. Why can't you accept that? Evelyn snapped back, but his words lingered. Raven's support group connections led to volunteer work at a LGBTQ center in Chicago. There she met others with similar scars, parents who disowned, friends who vanished. Sharing her story brought catharsis, but also reopened wounds. One session, a woman recounted reconciling with her family after years apart. It took my mom's illness to bridge the gap, she said. Raven wondered if such a catalyst awaited her. The first major crack in their relationship surfaced during a heated argument. Jamie wanted to go public with an article about personal experiences of coming out, including anonymized details from Raven's life. It could help others, Jamie argued. Raven recoiled. That's my pain, not content for your career. The fight escalated, words like selfish and cowardly flung like daggers. They slept in separate rooms that night, the silence deafening. Reconciliation came slowly. Jamie apologized, scrapping the article. I got carried away. Your story is yours. Raven forgave, but trust felt fragile. They attended couples counseling, unpacking layers of resentment. The therapist highlighted societal pressures amplifying their issues, homophobia turning internal conflicts outward. Meanwhile, Evelyn's health declined subtly. Stress from the family rift manifested in migraines, insomnia. She attended a seminar on understanding alternative lifestyles, dragged by a progressive friend. The speakers shared testimonies of love transcending norms, challenging her views. For the first time, she questioned her absolutes. What if I'm wrong? She whispered to herself. Raven received a surprise call from Mark. Mom's not doing great. She misses you, even if she won't say it. Hope flickered, but caution prevailed. She made her choice, Raven replied. Yet the seed was planted. Jamie encouraged outreach. Family bonds don't break easily. Raven drafted an email, pouring out her hurt and love. Sending it felt like leaping off a cliff. Evelyn's response came days later. Curt but not hostile. I've been thinking. We should talk. They arranged a video call, tension thick as pixels. Evelyn's face looked drawn. I don't understand your choices, she admitted. But I regret the way I handled it. Raven's heart raced. Was this progress or a trap? The conversation unearthed buried emotions. Evelyn confessed her fears, societal judgment, eternal damnation. Raven shared her joy with Jamie, the life they'd built. Tears flowed on both sides. "I just want my daughter back," Evelyn sobbed. Raven hesitated. "But only if you accept all of me." The call ended ambiguously. A fragile bridge erected. Jamie celebrated with Raven but warned, "Change takes time." Indeed, follow-up talks stalled when Evelyn balked at meeting Jamie. "One step at a time," she said. Raven felt torn. Loyalty to her partner versus yearning for family. A betrayal loomed unexpectedly. Jamie, under deadline pressure, confided in a colleague about Raven's story for inspiration. Word spread, and an article appeared with thinly veiled parallels. Raven discovered it online, fury igniting. "You promised," she shouted. Jamie defended. "It was anonymized. It helps the cause." But to Raven it was a violation, echoing her mother's control. The fight shattered their harmony. Raven stormed out, wandering Chicago's streets, questioning everything. Was love enough to withstand these blows? Returning home, they confronted the damage. Jamie admitted ambition had clouded judgment. "I'll make it right." But scars remained, trust eroded. In the aftermath of Jamie's betrayal, their apartment felt like a battlefield, littered with unspoken accusations. Raven buried herself in work, designing logos for queer-owned businesses, finding purpose in empowerment. Jamie threw herself into atonement, pulling the article and issuing an apology through her network. "I crossed a line," she confessed to Raven one quiet evening. "Forgive me." Raven nodded, but the wound festered, a reminder of vulnerability. Back east, Evelyn's internal conflict deepened. She joined a parent support group for LGBTQ children, anonymity shielding her pride. Stories of regret mirrored her own. Missed milestones, lost connections. One father shared, "I chose doctrine over my son. Now he's gone forever." Evelyn wept, envisioning a similar fate. She reached out to Raven via text. "Can we try again?" Raven agreed to a visit solo to test waters. Flying to New York felt surreal. Her childhood home a mix of nostalgia and dread. Evelyn greeted her at the door, aged by grief. They sat in the kitchen, tea steaming between them. "I've been reading," Evelyn said. "About your community." Raven raised an eyebrow. "And?" Evelyn sighed. "It's hard to unlearn a lifetime of beliefs." The weekend unearthed layers. Evelyn admitted societal pressures, church expectations, neighbors' gossip, fueled her reaction. "I was scared for you," she said. Raven countered. "You were scared for yourself." Truth hung heavy, but moments of tenderness emerged. Evelyn cooking Raven's favorite meal, reminiscing about childhood without judgment. Mark's presence bridged gaps. He hugged Raven fiercely. "I've missed you, sis." Over board games he shared his own awakenings, friends coming out, school debates on equality. "Mom's changing," he whispered. Raven hoped, but skepticism lingered. Returning to Chicago, Raven debriefed with Jamie. "It's progress, but she's not ready for us." Jamie nodded, hiding her hurt. "As long as you're healing." But jealousy simmered. Jamie's family indifference made Raven's potential reconciliation feel like a threat. Moral dilemmas arose when Raven considered introducing Jamie. What if she rejects her? Raven fretted. Jamie urged honesty. "We can't hide forever." The decision weighed heavy, a crossroads of authenticity versus peace. Evelyn's next step surprised. An invitation for both. "I want to meet the person who makes you happy." Raven's heart soared, but doubt crept in. Was it genuine or performative? They traveled together, tension palpable on the flight. The reunion was awkward. Evelyn's handshake with Jamie was stiff, her questions probing. "How did you two meet?" Jamie answered gracefully, steering toward common ground. Love for literature, city life. Dinner passed with polite conversation, but undercurrents swirled. Post-meal, Evelyn pulled Raven aside. "She's nice, but is this really what you want?" Raven bristled. "Yes, Mom. It is." Evelyn nodded slowly. "I need time." The visit ended on a tentative note, promises of future calls. Back home, highs crashed into lows. Jamie felt scrutinized, an outsider. "Your mom sees me as the problem." Raven reassured, but the strain showed. They argued over priorities. Family versus partnership. You're choosing her over me, Jamie accused. Raven fired back. I'm trying to have both. The conflict peaked at a pride parade in Chicago. Amid celebrations, Raven spotted a family waving rainbow flags, parents embracing their queer child. Envy stung. Jamie noticed. That's what you want. Raven nodded. But at what cost? A shocking twist came via email. Evelyn's church friend outed their reconciliation, sparking backlash. Evelyn faced ostracism, mirroring Raven's past. They're calling me an enabler, she confided in a call. Raven empathized. Welcome to my world. The shared pain bonded them, Evelyn questioning her faith's rigidity. Jamie's career hit a snag. Her betrayal's fallout led to professional scrutiny. I might lose my job, she admitted. Raven supported, but resentment bubbled. Your ambition hurt us. Jamie snapped. And your family's hate didn't? The words hung, a chasm widening. In therapy, they unpacked betrayals, Jamie's professional slip, Raven's emotional withholding. Love requires vulnerability, the counselor said. They committed to rebuilding, but doubts persisted. Evelyn's awakening accelerated when Mark announced a school project on LGBTQ history. I interviewed Raven, he said proudly. Evelyn read it, tears flowing at her daughter's resilience. I've been wrong, she admitted to herself. A family crisis loomed. Evelyn's diagnosis of early-stage cancer. She called Raven. I need you. Raven rushed back, Jamie by her side. At the hospital, Evelyn squeezed Jamie's hand. Thank you for loving her. The moment shattered barriers, but treatment loomed, testing all. Evelyn's cancer diagnosis hit like a thunderbolt, forcing priorities into sharp focus. Raven and Jamie relocated temporarily to New York, subletting their Chicago apartment. Family first, Raven said, though Jamie's unease was palpable. Living under Evelyn's roof meant navigating minefields. Subtle comments on traditional roles, church pamphlets left out. Chemotherapy sessions became battlegrounds for emotions. Raven held Evelyn's hand as nausea racked her body. I'm sorry for everything, Evelyn whispered during a vulnerable moment. Raven forgave, but scars remained. Jamie supported from afar, cooking meals and running errands, her presence a quiet defiance. Mark blossomed as mediator, his youth bringing levity. Let's watch that show about queer history, he suggested. Evelyn watched reluctantly, questions arising. Is this how you felt? She asked Raven. Nodding, Raven shared her journey. First crushes, hidden feelings, the joy of authenticity. Societal echoes amplified. Neighbors whispered about that girl and her friend staying over. Evelyn defended fiercely. My daughter and her partner are welcome here. The shift empowered her but cost friendships. I've lost allies, she confided. Raven replied. You've gained truth. Jamie's patience wore thin. I'm an accessory here, she vented. Raven promised balance, but caregiving consumed her. A heated exchange erupted. You're reverting to who they want you to be, Jamie accused. Raven countered. I'm helping my mom. The rift deepened, nights spent in separate rooms. Moral quandaries surfaced. Evelyn urged Raven to consider children. You'd make a great mother. Raven dreamed of it, but with Jamie. We could adopt, she broached. Evelyn hesitated. But, two moms. Progress stalled, frustrations mounting. A turning point came during a remission scare. Tests showed improvement, relief washing over. In celebration, Evelyn hosted a dinner. To new beginnings, she toasted, eyes on Jamie. Welcome to the family. Tears flowed, bridges mending. Yet, betrayal struck again. Mark, in youthful indiscretion, shared family details online, anonymity thin. Trolls attacked, dredging old wounds. Raven felt exposed. Why can't we have privacy? She raged. Jamie comforted, but the incident highlighted vulnerabilities. Post-recovery, Evelyn attended her first Pride event with Raven and Jamie. Overwhelmed by colors and acceptance, she hugged strangers, apologizing for past ignorance. I've been blind, she admitted. Raven beamed, but Jamie sensed lingering reservations. Returning to Chicago, normalcy beckoned. Raven proposed to Jamie during a lakeside walk. Through it all, you're my constant. Jamie accepted, Rings exchanged in private joy. Planning a wedding invited new conflicts. Inviting Evelyn? Evelyn's response. Enthusiasm tempered by concerns. What about the church? Raven stood firm. Our way. Preparations unfolded. Guest lists debated. Old friends resurfaced, some supportive, others judgmental. A pre-wedding crisis, Jamie's doubt. After everything, are we ready? Raven reassured, but insecurities flared. Therapy helped, unpacking fears rooted in past rejections. The wedding day arrived, intimate in a Chicago park. Evelyn walked Raven down the aisle, tears streaming. I'm proud, she whispered. Vows exchanged, love affirmed amid applause. Honeymoon bliss faded into reality. Raven and Jamie discussed family expansion. Adoption processes began, challenges arising, bias in agencies, paperwork mountains. Years passed in a blur. They adopted a baby boy, Liam. His arrival a beacon of hope. Evelyn visited often, doting as grandma. He's perfect, she cooed. But shadows lingered. Societal shifts brought progress, yet backlash persisted. Raven's design firm faced boycotts after a pride campaign. Worth it, she declared. Evelyn's full awakening came in advocating for LGBTQ rights at her church, splitting the congregation. Love is love, she preached, echoing her daughter's truth. Liam grew into a curious toddler, his laughter filling their Chicago home. Raven watched him play, marveling at the family they'd forged. Jamie, now a senior editor, balanced career and motherhood with grace. Evelyn's visits became routine, her transformation complete. From rejecter to ally. One afternoon during a family gathering, Liam toddled over to Evelyn, arms outstretched. Gamma! He squealed, hugging her tightly. Evelyn's eyes welled, the embrace a poignant full circle. The woman who once cast out her daughter now held her grandson. Love transcending past sins. Reflecting on the journey, Raven journaled her thoughts. The costs were steep. Years of isolation, fractured trust, emotional scars. Yet, gains shone brighter. Authenticity, deeper bonds, societal ripples. Jamie's articles evolved, focusing on reconciliation stories. Our pain became purpose, she said. Evelyn volunteered at the support group, guiding other parents through turmoil. Challenges persisted. Liam faced playground taunts about two moms. Raven and Jamie armed him with confidence. Love makes our family strong, they taught. A decade later at Liam's school play, Evelyn sat proudly beside Raven and Jamie. I almost missed this, she confessed. Raven squeezed her hand. But you didn't. The story's twists, rejections, betrayals, awakenings, wove a tapestry of human frailty and resilience. Love demanded sacrifices, but yielded profound rewards. Was Evelyn's initial rejection justified by her beliefs, or was it always a moral failing?